closer we get to winning, the more vicious and nasty and violent that these people will become. And we're seeing a lot of evidence out all over the place. Even you're seeing it even in Canada. A woman at a life chain was beaten by a man who a pro-abort walked by and actually got her down on the ground, was beating on her and threatening her with a knife.
Oh my gosh.
We're seeing all these situations where students around the country are being attacked for being pro-life, having Students for Life groups. And I think what makes the pro-abort so mad about these student groups is that they can't get pro-choice student groups going. And even they're admitting that that's true, that they go to these campuses, they say there's one or two pro-life groups on every campus, but there's no pro-abortion group, pro-choice groups. And I think that's what frustrates and aggravates them. So we're starting to see more and more examples of this. And we have a young lady on the phone with us who was a victim of this sort of thing. And I'll just let you tell her story. Thrin Short. Hello, Thrin.
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
Good. Thank you for joining us. You are 16 years old and you're coming to us from Ventura, California. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. You were at the University of California, Santa Barbara campus with some other pro-lifers, as I understand it, and we're just standing there holding a sign. Is that right?
Well, we were also passing out information and talking to students.
Right. And what happened?
A professor came up and began to try to start a mob by one of the signs. And once she got in a big crowd, it was one of these monologues, so she wouldn't let anybody answer what she was saying. She would just shout over you. And then she tried to get the students to take down the sign by starting a chant to tear down the sign. And then when they didn't do that, she had to do it herself. And she grabbed the sign, went off with it to the building where she works. And when she got into the elevator there, I was afraid that she would leave and we'd never see the sign again. So I wanted to keep them there until the police arrived. So I put my foot in the door, and she began to kick my foot away. And I kept putting my foot back. And finally she started to shove me. She shoved me a couple times before she realized that still wasn't going to keep me from locking the door and closing. So then she actually came out of the elevator and tried to pull me away so that others could get away with the sign.
And you were injured in this fracas?
Yeah, I have scratches on my arms.
Okay. And the police were called?
Yes.
Okay. First off, what happened to the signs?
They brought it up to her office where they destroyed it, and the police later found it in a trash can.
Okay. What's going on with the police right now?
Well, they've done their job. It's now left in the DA's hands.
And do you have any indicator from them that they're going to file charges on this woman?
We'll be hearing from them in a couple days about that.
Okay. But they've given you no indicator that they will or will not follow up?
They haven't.
You know, the amazing thing that I've seen from this is that this woman has been interviewed, and she's taking the position that she had the legal right to do this because these signs offended her.
Thrin, what was on the sign?
The picture of abortion victim.
Right.
You know, I've been in front of abortion clinics for years, seen several little dust-ups, and I just can't even imagine where I would chase somebody into or steal something and then be chased into a building by an abortionist and I attack them or even a pro-abortion person and not be in jail for weeks at a time before being bailed out.
Right, right.
Causing injury to a pro-abortion person. I just can't even imagine it. And this is a professor on a California campus, wasn't arrested. Was she even cited, Thrin? Did she get?
Not that I know of.
Not even a citation. And now it's handed over to probably a liberal district attorney in Santa Barbara.
And this woman is well, what else are you going to find in Santa Barbara, California?
Beautiful weather.
Yeah.
Thrin?
I'm saying in the district.
Huh? Very nice.
Who was very nice?
The DA. We talked to the very DA.
Oh, good.
Nice.
Santa Barbara.
Good. Well, maybe something will happen from it. But this woman, and to give people a perspective here, this person, this professor, teaches pornography in her classes, uses pornography in her class. She's a professor of women's studies or something like that?
Yes.
And she uses pornography in her classes?
Yes.
You know, what is wrong with the parents and the students of the students who are going there, and the students themselves who are, it can't be cheap to go to the University of California at Santa Barbara.
No.
Right? Paying all those money to go to a institution that would have a woman like this on staff. Why wasn't she fired?
Right.
Have you talked to the administration about that?
My mom has called them, but just asking them why. They're saying this is under review. Why have they not talked to any of the victims about this? But she never got a response.
So, to me, if I had a kid going there, if I'm paying first off, I'm going to call the school and say, you're not getting another nickel from me.
Oh, yeah.
As long as this woman's on staff, because it indicates bad judgment on your part. Your judgment is so poor that this woman can admit that she did this thing and then come out and say, I had the right to do it. I had the legal right to do this, and you're going to keep her on staff, and you're going to let her try to mold young minds? Not with my money, you're not. Why are students still going there, and why are parents still paying for it? That's the part I don't understand.
If you dip back into the past, you look at the 60s and 70s in Berkeley and Southern California and Timothy Leary. It was supposed to be this idea of the free flow of ideas,
tolerance,
exchange of communications and concepts, and debating large principles and theoretical ideas and philosophy on campuses. Here we are. We're doing this. We're bringing the objective truth of abortion to the college campuses for people to discuss it. And we have a college professor that teaches pornography just ripping off signs, destroying them, and attacking the students. Again, you put this back in the 60s and 70s, what would you call this?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, Thrin, something I'm interested in here is that before this person came over and started acting like an idiot, what kind of responses were you getting from the students that were seeing the signs?
It's a pretty liberal campus, so generally not. It's worse than other places we've gone. But we had people who would come up and thank us. We talked to a lot of students. We handed out nearly 1,000 pieces of pro-life literature. It was going pretty well.
So it was a peaceful exchange of ideas.
Yeah.
And in the place where you were standing, I mean, there must be procedures on campus and policies about where you can do things like this. Tell us a little bit about that. You had gotten all the necessary permissions to be where you were, right?
Yes, my sister does that because she organized these things. But, yeah, she checked beforehand, and that was the free speech zone.
Free speech zone. Mm-hmm. It's actually called that.
Yes, oh yeah. I thought every place was a free speech zone in America, but I didn't realize that there were non-free speech zones. But
you see, that's the interesting thing, that this campus is explicitly saying, here's a place where you have free speech.
Here's a place of ideas.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's not enforcing its own zone.
I'm
Free
sorry.
speech ain't free.
I'm sorry, Thrin, you said you were saying something?
It's now also, this place is much better with free speech than other places we've been. They're much more, you have to have a sign within this size, and you can only stand behind a table in a small little area. This is much more, we didn't even need to let them know we were coming. You could just arrive and do your thing in this long, big mainstream area right there where all the students are passing.
Well,
So for free speech, this was a pretty good place.
well, thank you for the courage to do what you're doing. I know for a young lady of your age, it's hard to go out and do that and be ridiculed and especially show up basically, like you said, on a very liberal campus where you know you're going to be attacked. And we're going to keep following this and see what happens. My fear is that nothing's going to happen. They're just going to let it drop. If the reverse were to happen, if a bunch of pro-aborts came to a campus and were attacked by pro-lifers, again, this would be the lead story on the evening news tonight, talking about intolerance and so forth. But my fear is that this is probably going to go away. But we'll keep watching it.
The DA has to do something. I sincerely believe that they do care about this.
Well, good. I hope you're right. They need to do something about it. And the University of California at Santa Barbara needs to take the lead on it. Yep. This woman they need to be going and getting her right now and cleaning out her desk and setting her out in the parking lot. Mm-hmm. And let somebody else take her if they want her. But,
I know Thrin's got some good attorneys on this case.
Well, good. Well, thanks for being with us, Thrin, and thank you for what you're doing and your sister as well.
Okay.
Thank you for joining us.
Me.
Bye-bye.
16 years old.
Yeah, pretty good.
Man.
Pretty impressive, right?
Absolutely.
We had there was something else. Oh, I found the article that you're talking about, this full-blown crisis. A woman in Salon magazine
Right.
wrote about this. What was her name? Mary Elizabeth Williams, raging pro-abort.
Right.
And she was talking about this case with Thrin, saying that we shouldn't be defending this professor, and this, we don't need to be doing this because it makes us look radical and so forth. And she was the one that's saying we really don't need to be doing this right now because, quote, we are in a full-blown crisis, meaning the pro-choice community. It's pretty neat. And they are in a full-blown crisis. Now,